I guess it says going live, so I'm going to take a look here. Hi, it's Alan. And Alan Brewer Nielsen, and I am a targeted individual from Salem, Oregon, and near Dallas. It's where I live most of my life. And I'm a targeted individual with voice to skull, V2K. And I want to get the word out. I put some videos out there, but I want people to know and understand that this is a real issue. Voice to skull is what I have, and electronic jolts, where they um, jolt you with electronic, shots and punches, like electronic jolts of electricity. And I want to let you know this is real. I remember for years I was a skeptic. I studied actually to be a minister, but it was hard for me to believe things unless I could see it myself or prove it, have it proven to where I couldn't have any doubt about it. So I understand people who are skeptics. I totally do. And I think it's a way to be. But as a person who, when it came to even believing in God, I needed, in essence, hi, Bridget. I needed the proofs of the final, the anthropic or the design argument, not the anthropic principle, but it's more or less the design argument. And that free will would show that the existence of dualism or a soul. Anyway, but that's it. The rest is open faith, and I'm open minded to a lot of other things. So, hi, Bridget. I'm talking about targeted individuals. Are you one, Bridget? And anyway, this is a real issue. And for people who say, well, this is not, this is one of those conspiracy things, I understand because that's how I would have thought if I had never been exposed to it. But being that I'm a person who all I know is I went through a lot, constant side pain. I broke my arm in football in high school. They fixed it, I thought, arms good, shoulders good. But then within about 3 years or 2.5, 3 years, my side started hurting, just constantly hurting and killing. Well, if you are a targeted individual, it's one of those things. It's definitely worth looking into. It's about medical experimentation. It's where doctors in their big cities or small towns use the hospitals that they operate in and sometimes put, whether they call it not pacemakers or the things that we're used to being implanted in us, like pacemakers, pig valves for hearts, they call them implants, but it's just any medical device to experiment on people and to see what radiation, when it's done negatively as a torture device, it's radiation normally. And they did this, I believe, in the 40s with the radium girls, radiation. Kids were given oatmeal laced with radiation isotopes. You can look this stuff up. And in 1995, Bill Clinton, for all who know that is, 1995, you can look this up. In 1995, apologized to everyone, admitting that the United States government did this to our own people. Did this to the United States' own people by giving them radiation. He said thousands of people through hundreds and hundreds of hospitals and thousands of doctors experimented on people without their knowledge. So as far as people saying, well, the government wouldn't do it, well, Bill Clinton admitted it. I mean, just plainly admitted the government did this. So for anybody who says, well, the government wouldn't do it, well, he admitted it, and you can see it on YouTube. Now, the thing with Bill Clinton is that it seems from the big book he's holding, he even says that people should get compensated. Now, that's not my point right here. That'd be great, and I agree with that too. I would love it because 30 years of suffering, and a lot of people have suffered, have died from their pain. But it needs to be acknowledged, admitted, and then stopped. And for people who wonder, well, did they stop? A person can look at the White House's own bioethics committee that was formulated and started by Barack Obama in 2011 and 2012. He has put again a bioethics committee starring Amy Goodman from the University of Pennsylvania or Penn State, one of those, I forget. Amy Goodman and Anthony Fauci's wife, Dr. Christine Grady. She doesn't go by Goodman, or she doesn't go by Fauci, but it's Dr. Christine Grady. And she was the co-chair of Obama's bioethics board. And they were in charge of listening to all these targeted individuals with V2K and electronic jolts and shocks and just plain painful disabilities, and sitting and listening to 300 of them or 200, whatever was in there at that day. But you can see this on the internet. It's supposed to be on bioethics.gov, but whenever I try to go there, it says that the internet it's too slow, so it's like the government doesn't. I don't know. They don't want me to see it, or I don't know what it is. But you can see it on James Lico, Lico, YouTube, 131 Kimber, or 2012 Target Individual Evidence. And this is just one of those things where in the past, like Bill Clinton admitted they did it, but then acted like they stopped. But you can just look at this bioethics of hundreds of people giving their testimony or being there, and many of them giving their testimony, and they're saying, no, they haven't stopped. They wanted to make it look like they stopped, and they just kept on going. They kept on going, didn't stop what they're doing. And then, of course, when you are part of a program from the government that purposely and knowingly causes painful side effects, or main effect, not a side effect, it's a main cause of it, then what do people in pain do? When you have a constant pain, you go to a doctor, hope to get it fixed, and if they don't fix it, what happens? They get pain medication. And with pain medication, you get a daily supply, but that's what happened. And when this happened in 2011 and 2012, and the White House realized that these TIs, targeted individuals, we're not going away. Some of us have died, but a lot of us are staying around, and we're still here. So what they did was they suddenly cut off all the pain medication, hoping that people would off themselves. And many did. Many did. Unfortunate. When I say unfortunate, there's no worse word just to say it's unfortunate. It's horrible. And to think that our own government and our own doctors in our small towns and big cities, it doesn't matter, the doctors that we entrusted to help us, and the police that we entrusted to help us, and our mayors and our government of our small towns, and especially our doctors that entrusted us. Well, they at that time, maybe in their 20s or 30s, thought a new wing for the hospital was more important than our actual health. So many of these doctors decided to go along with this program, and they changed the name for it, these programs, but we as TIs just call it the Targeted Individual Program. And it's literally a program that our own government, which loves science, or claims to, and doing research on innocent people, whether it's Barack Obama apologizing to the Guatemalan country for using their people. He didn't give them money or anything. He just said, I'm sorry, after ruining the lives, after our country ruined the lives of who knows how many of their people, but now is ruining the lives of our own people here still. But the good thing is, through organizations like Ella Free and Targeted in Massachusetts and Romola D and Karen Horton, and there's, PACs, people against covert harassment. There's quite a few. And for the very fact that they have all these organizations and podcasts of people that can call in and can complain and admit, yeah, this is what's they're going through. The government can't hide it anymore. They're trying to. But it's almost like entertainment, like a game for them to play with and get points on. How many people can they kill? How many people can they actually kill, murder, try to get to commit suicide? And they get points for each one. It's literally a game. Just like this politics, where we're at in politics. This is Halloween. It's 12:51, but it means we go back an hour tonight, so it's 11:51, almost midnight on Halloween night, so almost All Saints Day in 9 minutes. But no, I guess it's already. We don't change it till 2 in the morning, so it's already All Saints Day or whatever, or November 1st. Anyway, a good thing to look up if you've seen this and want to know more. And Bridget, if you want to look this up, I don't know if I've talked to you, but it's good to look up Freedom for Targeted Individuals, FFTI, or on YouTube, look up Ella Free. And she interviews a lot of targeted individuals, people with the same stuff, with a voice to skull, which is literally, as nutty as it sounds, it is literally two people using wireless technology. And there's debate as whether the science is they use an actual implant like a receiver, a small little chip or something like that, but that's literally where they're at. There has never been a level of cruelty that they have not been able to cross. As much as we look at other governments, and rightfully so, we look at other governments, Nazis and other governments that have been cruel, Saddam Hussein, uh, Jamal Khashoggi's murder. Our own government is capable and has done things just as bad, but with better technology. And that's it. It's just as bad, just as evil. But the only thing is, we have better technology. Our country does. And we give this technology for a price to these other countries. And that's why you can see this program being done in India, Mexico, to some degree, Europe, England, um, even Canada. You think Canadians are nicer than this? Well, some of it's being done too. I don't think they'll just stop doing it, but their whole system will break down. I hope so. I think you're right. I think the whole thing, and what always happens, what needs to happen, and that's why Ella Free and those groups are great, is that it's really an issue of public awareness. Hey Wayne, how are you? Good to see you. Hello, hello. And I'm just, you know me, Wayne, just talking about our TI program we got going on. And you guys know Bridget. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. Just finishing up Halloween here in Oregon. So it's just like I don't have my costume on or anything. So good. Got it going on, huh? Got to get you another bird. That was a great bird you had there. So I haven't seen your podcast in a couple of weeks. I looked and then it'll say that it's already been on. So I didn't get the notification or something it was on. So yeah, buddy, it's a great bird. I got to catch up on Kyle. I saw him like about a week ago and I haven't seen him. I think he put one out there since, but I missed the last one. So I think Tanya said that he had put one out, so I haven't seen that. Or I haven't seen Ella Free's latest one. So I was looking at the old Portland rally, and I went to the Portland rally last year. And so I was glad to see that. And my first time I actually met other targeted individuals was at the Portland rally. And at that time, I just thought somebody was fucking with me. I just thought somebody was messing with me. And I knew I never hurt anybody. I'm pretty, you know, sensitive to make sure I don't do anything. But then to think that the town where since I was 7 years old and never hurt anybody, never got in trouble or anything, suddenly came together. I just knew I was on pain medication for 20 years. I was in pain for 30 years, for 20 years on pain medication, and nobody could tell me what it was for, my side pain. And it's just like, and then I got V2K out of my doctor just finally came up and just like, nobody's going to help you. Nobody's going to help you. And I'm thinking, what's this about? You know, they were nice doctors the whole time. I thought literally they're just trying to help me, and they tried their best, but you know, and I got medicine to help it, but nobody, you know, and they even sent me to a couple specialists. They did what they're supposed to. But then I got V2K. It's like after this, nobody's going to help your routine. It's like I'm thinking, well, I never hurt anybody. I didn't do anything. And then suddenly I had to, because of this TI stuff, I had fallen out of a window, broke my arms, broke my arms, had to learn to walk again, broke my leg. And it was because of all this TI and the voices and V2K stuff. And no, but even then, all this little town Dallas, religious people, very religious, tons of churches, not one of them told me anything. None of them. They did their still with the thing with the phone and looking up in the video stuff. And not one of them for all this religious character and, you know, all of it. Just tons of churches, conservative, religious, and normally something I think is good. Conservative, religious. I mean, even some liberalism. Doesn't you know as long as they have good people. But it's a kind of conservative, religious town, and I thought pretty good people. And then suddenly, this happens to me, and nobody said a word about it. You know, and it took me literally after learning to walk again and getting my strong arm is now my weak arm. Are they choking you now? Yeah, seriously, I've heard about that. They do that. They actually go right here and do the whole thing. And it's just like there is just a level of malevolence that's just, and it's just, you would think they would want to take the money. Yeah, I'd get fucking pissed too, just because you'd think they'd want to take the money and run because there's so much of us now. See, in the United States, Wayne, in 2015, 2016, we had the great big all the doctors quit the opioid epidemic. And I literally think it was because in 2011 and 2012, the White House had the TI forum with, and one of the people was Anthony Fauci's wife, Christine Grady, Dr. Christine Grady. And 3 years later, suddenly there's so many of these people that are still alive, you and me included. And I don't know, maybe Bridget, you too. I don't know. It's just we're not going anywhere. We're still around, and we are finding each other. And then suddenly in 2015, they have this opioid epidemic, and people falling out and dying. And I literally, between this and the pandemic, and interestingly, Wayne, if you look at, and Bridget, if you look at, I'm not sure what to make of it, but Romola D has a subject on the pandemic or plandemic. And it even shows a part of the World Health Organization where it shows one from 2008. It was in 2019, but it shows a copy from 2008 where they made plans for a deliberate release of a pathogen. So, I mean, if that's a legitimate piece of, if that's legitimate, then it makes it look like it was planned. I mean, I know there's fake news and somebody can make a fake thing, but it looks like it's authentic. Not that I'm an expert on knowing what's a real and what's a fake anything. I'm not good at computer or tech skills, but it still makes you wonder, like how much of this was, plandemic, how much was just, the back and forth. Masks do work, no, they don't work. Was this all real? Like they literally didn't know, or I mean, this back and forth, and it seems like it's almost like they're going through a script of using the Mueller report here in the U.S. and getting nothing out of it, and that makes fun of the liberals. And then you got the Durham report, which is the conservative flip of the Mueller report. And then Barr's going to go after them and get all the liberals and Democrats. And then Durham has nothing. Nothing comes of that. So it's almost like the flip of the Mueller report, and nothing comes of that either. It's almost like our government is making fun of both sides, saying that we can do the most bluntly obvious, make you excited over here, make you excited, fight over here, getting agitated, angry, get a bunch of money on this side, money on this side. We need four more Senate seats, four more. We could lose four seats, so we need more money. And it's like this back and forth. And the truth is like puppets. They're just like puppeteers. And like whenever you study religions and cults, the main thing is every cult, you always need a devil. You need someone to hate in order to get people fired up and really on fire for it. You need a devil. And if it's religion, then you need a devil. You need someone bad to hate. If it's politics, then that same emotional energy becomes empowered by having someone or some group of people to hate. And that's where we're at now in the United States. And it's 3 days from our election here. And, I hope it doesn't, but it's just going to be one of those civil, I hope not, but nobody wants to be looted or beaten up. But it's almost like the brainiest brains of the government are trying to position things this way between CNN, MSNBC, and then Fox News and the Blaze or whatever. It's like they're trying to, like before a football game in high school. The main thing is we got to try to, as TIs, we need to keep our heads and not overreact. And as TIs, we shouldn't fall into all this. Watch out that we don't get falling into this Q stuff. There was a show that had a Raul guy that was trying, he was on an episode of one of the podcasts, and he was saying something that was trying to almost make the TI thing. Raul was his name, and he was a military guy, and he was trying to make the TI program sound like the QAnon program. And we need to watch out for that. Those are two separate things. What we are going through is punishment, not punishment like we did anything, but torture and medical experimentation. And we need to focus on that. And that's the only thing we know. And try not to, as much as we get passionate about religion and passionate about or politics, and we can all have our opinions on it. The only thing we as individuals know is that we know we're being tortured and for no reason. And there's some people that are TIs. I don't know if this is true of you, Wayne, or Bridget, but I know in my life I never really did anything I just never did. I mean, I'm kind of boring, but I was pretty sentimental. But I know a lot of people look back and like, oh, I feel guilty. The reason why they did it is because I did this once, or I did that to that person, or they're trying to get back at me, and I don't know what the reason is, or if there is a reason. But I know for me, I just never, I was never active. I didn't even vote really. I mean, I can get beaten up for that, but I didn't. So, oh, good. My voices have disappeared, but nothing has returned to normal. People have been in my apartment at least twice and deliberately left their marks. Yeah, yeah. I'm glad that the voices have gone. Um, it's weird because once you go through something like that, to go back to normal, whatever that is, you wonder, are they still listening? Do they still have this synthetic stuff going on? Can they, your thoughts, can they read them or whatever? No, nothing worthy of this treatment. No, that's for damn sure. There is nothing. People almost want to look back. The reason why they're doing it is because I, you know, went to a Planned Parenthood, or I went to a pro-life meeting, or I argued with the pastor, I argued with the deputy, or or just anything, liberal or conservative. They'll try to find that's what we do. But I can say literally, like you're saying, Wayne, nothing we do deserves it. I know for me, I've always been obsessively nice, and whether it's patting myself on the back, I'm not trying to do that. I just know I've been nice, and I was just a human experiment. I was a medical experiment, and what happens is people, they get this and they look back like, what did I do? Who did I hurt? And try to find guilt. So yeah, drink. Yeah, drink. That can happen to anybody. I've in my 20s. I've definitely enjoyed my share of quite a few steel reserve. It's like 10%. So I kind of walk everywhere I go. It's just I just always was a person. So they want you to think you deserve it, and that's exactly it. There's a guy named he's from Belgium, Brussels, I think. Peter Hoyenbroek. That's his name. Peiter Hoyenbroek. And on TI television, he does this thing, PEI or PIETER Hoyenbroek or broke or something like that. TI television, Europe TIs from Brussels, I think. And Belgium, whatever. And it's just that's what he says. He goes, the people in the town want to make you think that you did something wrong. Oh, there's Tanya. Hey, Tanya. I got some good people here, Tanya. I got Wayne and Bridget. Hello, it's good to see you. This is great. This is the most I ever had on like a cast here, so this is good. So I hope you guys are doing good. And happy Halloween, everybody. I don't know if Halloween's still going over there in Australia and all that, so but we're just finishing up here in the United States. So I didn't get one. I live in an apartment complex with have families and everything, but I haven't gotten one in the last 2 years or something like that. They just don't come in. They go out there, or because of COVID, they don't. They just stay home or go to churches and get candy. I don't. So I don't know. Happy Halloween, yes. Happy Halloween, and officially, we have to turn our clocks back here in the U.S. We have something called say daylight savings time, and for fall, we have to move our clocks back an hour. So I don't know how it is in Australia. It were two voices, both sounding male, but heard my own thoughts in a male. Oh, that is different. I never heard that one. Have you guys heard that one? Wayne, Tanya, if you heard, Bridget was talking about it was two voices, but both sounding male. But I heard my own voice in my own thought in a male voice. They go to the mall. Yes, yeah, that's what Halloween is. I know. I guess that's all they can do. I never heard that one though. For me, it's always a guy's voice and a gal's voice, and I can wake up any time of the day. And there's probably 6 or 8 people that have shifts that do 6 hours, 8 hours. I don't know. Um, yes, we done our clocks daylight savings. We call yeah. So you guys have the same thing there. But yeah, it's like I don't know what you guys have with that experienced, or if you've heard other people. For me, um, for other people, I've heard of that. They'll even take a voice and make it sound like somebody from your background, like someone you knew as a child, or even a relative's voice, and they can mimic it or clone the sound of somebody's voice to make it sound like a relative, even, and make you think it's them while you sleep or something like that. I've never had that. I've always just had a guy and a gal, and they can hear me right now and read everything on. You know how it is. So it's just everything I see is to a person who's not a V2K, or they're listening to this. This stuff is real. It's not a figment of our imagination. They wouldn't have opened the White House twice for something that was a figment of an imagination or a psychotic fantasy. They wouldn't do that twice, 2 different years in a row, in 2011 and 2012, for something that was just a psychotic delusion. So they were feeling the pressure, and they had to do some. Obama felt the need; he had to do something. But now it's kind of like they know, and we know that they know. So it's kind of like we got to keep the pressure on them. So yes, we done our clock daylight savings. Yeah, daylight savings. That's what we got it. And Bridget's like, maybe it was something different when I experienced. I don't know. It sounds like the same thing. I mean, if you're, I mean, I don't know. Um, I know in my own case, some people when they experience it, I never try to shit on people's like religious or spiritual experiences, because that was my major in college, was theology and apologetics and philosophy. That was my thing. I can't fix a car. I don't even drive a car, but I still like to, hear other people's viewpoints on that stuff, because I don't claim to know what the truth is on a lot of things, but I like to hear what other people think. And so what you guys might think on this stuff might be more, but I just know our government's fucking with us. And so is your government too, evidently. So it could have been something different, but it's like I say, Tanya, I agree. Only hope people wake up um, to this program. Before I came on tonight, I was looking at Migs B and Ella Free's podcast from Portland. And when you look at this, he does, for me, because I remember going like a year of having these two yappers everywhere I went. And I just thought it was somebody playing a joke on me. And one of the things they did, and I've never heard anybody say this, um, that's what I just hope they wake up to and then realize, well, the main thing we're saying is that they're torturing us and using us as medical experiments. Yeah, yeah, that's both are good. That's the thing. Is like if they can wake up and realize a lot of the pain that they're going through, through a lot of people, they're just like me. They trust their doctors, they trust the people from their town. And it wasn't until V2K that I realized, oh, something different's going on. I know somebody's fucking with me. And I literally went 30 years just thinking it was a pain and my doctors couldn't figure it out. They tried, sent me to specialists, and then suddenly that, nobody's going to help your routine happened. And then within a few months, people with their phones doing their thing and acting weird almost got hit by cars, by people speeding, and the phone thing, the video, and suddenly voices through the wall, and it made me freak out one time. And that thing, and then jumped out the window and then had to go to the hospital and learn how to walk again. That's the sad thing, Tanya. It's like I always did. I had good people, genuinely, ever since I was 7 years old. Good people, and I don't even want to slam, because I don't know if they were the ones that put me in, because it was a different doctor when I broke my arm in high school. I broke my arm and separated shoulder, broke my arm, and it was a different doctor. And then I woke up, and then everything was fine, this part. But then after 2 years, this started gradually hurting. And then I just figured they didn't know what it was, and they sent me to specialists. But then V2K happened after 20 years of medicine and 30 years of just pain and 20 years of medicine. I was thankful for the medication, but now I realized about targeted individuals. Yeah, it sucked. I mean, it does. It just does. But I feel better now, knowing a lot better, because I went through all those years not knowing what it was. And my mind would only be filled with studying, well, with scrupulosity, thinking about, whatever's in my brain, just, or theology or apologetics, or I studied cults, I studied religion, atheism, apologetics, philosophical, all that stuff. That, you have a few beers and you study that kind of stuff and watch Beavis and Butthead afterwards. So a good Beavis and Butthead kind of helps mellow you out, or South Park, when you study all that serious stuff, and then have a couple of beers and just go, ugh. So at least it helped me. So that and a cigarette. So I know it's bad for your health, but it helped me with, when you have OCDs, actually cigarettes help take the stress out. Not that I want people to start, that whole, but it's just, anyway, it's bad for your health, and it just is. So I know that. So yeah, it's when you guys go through this experience, um, for me, it was good year and a half. And the first time I even went to Portland's just an hour from where I lived in Dallas, about an hour and a half. And it was the first time I actually met other targeted individuals. I just knew somebody was messing with me in these two voices, and they can hear me right now. Yeah, how you doing? That's what they say. And they're saying, can you believe this is going on? Talking to us like we're part of the group. Well, that's what it is like when you wake up and they're there. You can hear them. And there was a guy who described it this way. Xander, or I don't know if it's Xander or somebody else, but somebody at the White House thing was like saying, well, they piggyback, they know your frequencies on your brain wave, your brain wave and the frequencies and the hurt, whatever it is, the frequency, you know, and they can ride or piggyback off the frequency that your brain works on. I don't know if there's a receiver or not. Eric Carlstrom, I've heard of him. Yes, I have not seen his stuff, but I've heard of him. I just got to look him up. I've seen him on a few things. Do you live near Air Force Base or Army or police? I used to live 2 blocks away from the police station. My dad, my biological dad, actually, he was a Marine. He was actually a rifle instructor in Vietnam. So he lived down there, and from 65, 66, he did 3 tours, 3 Purple Hearts. And I didn't actually meet him until I was like 16, first time I met him. But he came back and he was a little messed up, of course, when he came back. So, but he was kind of yeah. So, um, now that's not me. I've never shot a gun in my life, so I can't borrow off of his toughness and pretend I'm anything like that. I'm just not. But he was that way, and I have an uncle that was really high up, and he actually worked for one of these defense contractors. Oh shit, was it's not called Hanson. Harrison, I think Harris, and it's like one of these defense contractors and helped with the satellite microwave. He was really big in that. Um, but he was part Air Force, and then they went with that and submarines now too. So they were instrumental in working with satellites and all that stuff. So in Germany. Oh shoot, yeah. What is that American air base there in Lamstuhl, Germany? So, Bridget, do you know of any TIs there in Germany? I think Catherine Horton is German, is from Germany. Um, if you look up Catherine Horton's channel, she is Stop. That's the name of her channel. It's Stop 007, like STOP 007. And I think she still does interviews people that are targeted individuals, and it's worth giving a go. She interviewed Bill Binney, and who was one of the NSA's original uh, code breakers, in essence. So it's like worth looking into. So, um, Dr. Catherine Horton, she used to work at CERN, allegedly. So, but very smart lady. So, but then she had a rift with some of the other people and now does her own little podcast. So, anyway, there's some people that really like her and or like the others, Romola D, and but sometimes they get in little spats with each other, and I just don't get into it. Romstein Air Force Base. Okay, I have subscribed to Dr. Horton's channel. Okay, good. When I think of Romstein, I also think of the band, and I just think of Du Hast. I don't know German. I don't know how to speak it. I just know I like that song, Du Hast. So I can sing it along, Du Hast, Du Hast, Du, and I don't know what the hell they're saying, but yeah, Dr. Horton's channel. So she is very helpful and influential. She was gonna go over there and do something with some people's affidavits, and I don't know what all became of it. Um, let's see, and Tanya wrote, my great uncle's in the war, and my cousin Navy. My other cousins are. Oh, okay. So you've got a whole background of that stuff. Yeah, and it's really weird to see that where a lot of the people who were in the military, they do use their own soldiers. They'll come back and just when we say that our governments don't care about us. I hate to say it. I mean, I think everybody wishes they were patriotic, and but we just need to have governments that actually do the work of looking out for their citizens. And that means not allowing homelessness and not allowing, certainly not allowing veterans to be homeless and allowing um, insurance and medical insurance. And I mean, in the United States, it's, one of the richest countries as far as its wealth. I mean, whether it is or, I mean, I don't really care about that. It's just they blow money on this program, the targeted individual program. And Tanya and Wayne, you guys know, Bridget, you probably with Germany. It's just they waste so many billions of dollars and decades. This took decades of research, billions of dollars in trying to get them to understand how the brain works and imaging to see what thought equates to. What does a thought look like? How do we interpret the thought? Vets should have houses paid for and medical. Yeah, that's the common sense thing. Every single politician, besides they all have to be religious, very religious. But then you wonder how religious they all be if they can look the other way on something so obviously evil. It's like between their religion and their capitalism, they're obviously more into capitalism and in rubbing elbows with rich and powerful people in this world. And it's like some might be real, but it's hard to say just because some of them are just asses. I mean, it's easier said than done. I know they could say that about it, but it's just they can do better. Trillions of dollars were spent during this COVID thing, and all that money's been there all this time, and they could have helped a lot of people, but they've been hiding it away for this. Bits should have houses, yeah, medical. The three guys in her comment sector called David Gregory, MB, who really got on her nerves. Hmm. In her comment sector called, oh, I know there's a David Gregory that's on. He's like a nerve. He's a news announcer on NBC, I think. I haven't seen him in a while though. And yeah, there's some. I always get chief handler that'll leave something on it. And it's just normally some guy doing a smart ass thing and just leaving something insulting to me, like you know, saying small wiener or something like that. I don't know. They'll write something rude, but I don't know. Yeah, it's just really gets nerve. I don't know if you guys remember that, but when you get this V2K, the first thing you go in there and use the restroom or get in the shower, and that's the first thing they do, start ridiculing you, everything about how you use the restroom or get in the shower, and just make you all self conscious. And then after a while, you just kind of like, enjoy what you see. You get used to it. I guess you don't like it, but it's just kind of like, eh. Yeah, they are targeted. They are targeted too. I mean, it's just they do. I mean, a lot of those guys from the military, even though my dad went to Vietnam, did 3 tours and the whole hearts thing, he doesn't talk about it. He's one of those. He'll talk about it if you bring it up, but on his own, he doesn't talk about it. So, and they can go through a lot of hellish stuff. And they've been trained to just either not go seek help or not see a psychologist or just keep it to the, and that's a shame because they need to be able to talk to people. And now in Oregon, we're trying to vote on something right now for legalized psychedelic mushrooms to help uh, post-traumatic stress disorder in veterans because it works wonders. They say for people coming back with PTSD, it's a lifesaver for people with mushrooms. So I hope veterans going through it or anybody with massive depression and that kind of stuff can look into it and see if they'll legalize it. So look up Dr. John Hall. Oh, I know who he is. Yeah, he's a great. He wrote a couple books. The New Breed. I haven't read that book. The New Breed, and he was at the White House thing. They interviewed him a little bit. He gave his thing. You can find that on James Lico, Lico, or 131 Kimber, I think, and 2012 targeted individual evidence, but it shows the presidential thing. Um, Deleted the message you don't like, Ellen. Well, I don't mind if somebody calls me a name. either they get, either they're one of us and I can handle it, or I know I'm by nature good natured and not my nature. So if they're rude to me, it's nothing I deserve. So yeah, they are. They're just sick people and they do this program. And I know everybody's got sometimes a weird sense of humor, but this is not a sense of humor. This is a level of cruelty. And I know they get money for it, but it's just, it's the weird thing is, I always thought, especially being raised religious, that shame would work on people, get that conscience going, just something. But there's some people, they just, when they're around other people that do the same thing and they try to outgross each other or out mean or out rude each other out, like they're trying to out sick each other. Like, Ozzy Osbourne taking a shit after Motley Crue pisses on something, and then, Ozzy would do something grosser. Like, what's gross? The outgross contest. Well, this is like, who can be the most evil, but they have rules they have to follow too. And that's something that a little bit helps us. There are rules. I have no doubt if they wanted to just stand a block away and take a rifle, they could, but there are rules that they have to play. And that's why they have to stick with it. They get points for it or something. That's what I think. I could be wrong. It's not like anybody sent me a rule book, but just by listening to them, that's how they talk. Like, what can we get for him? What can we get for him? David Gregory is a massive douchebag. What do you really think, Wayne? David Gregory. I think he's smart. If it's the same guy on the news, he's smart, but he definitely has got some definite political leanings. Um, but yeah, it just depends. But there's some parts that I wish he would ask tougher questions on. So I know what you mean, Wayne. So I don't know, Tanya. Do you know? You said wow, but I'm trying to figure what it is. That was wow. It's just I think it's rules, but I think they literally could just a block away with a rifle if they wanted. But I don't think it's part of the game. I think they really are trying to get people to do it to themselves, and they wouldn't get points or money for it. They just want to make it difficult. And I'm hearing the guys right now saying, "Oh, this has got to stop. This has got to stop." So I'm pissing them off somehow. So, did he have a heart attack? John Hall was great, and I'm really thankful. I haven't read his book, so I know he's got at least a couple of them. And I saw him on Alex Jones do a good 45-minute interview with Alex Jones, and he was talking about the gay guys in Southern California, and they were all getting the same V2K from some girl named Linda, some woman named Linda. And if you look at KVIR or KVIZ or something weird like that, there's a news station that showed in Southern California, Palm Spring area, three of these guys talking about getting V2K and getting this. If you look it up, I don't know if it's Southern California V2K, but news about TIs, target individuals, V2K, you'll see three of them give a news interview. And John Hall was saying on Alex Jones at InfoWars that there's like 64 gay guys that were having the same Linda, you know. The slow kill torture program, yes, they have no heart. They're assholes. I mean, you don't know how they're raised or what taught them. The normal basic thing, you wouldn't want it done to you. That as kids we learned, and if we have kids, and hopefully we teach that to our own kids, that teach them basic empathy. And it's like when they punch somebody as a kid, and then you, as a parent, you go, "You don't like it, do you?" And they're like, "No." And it's like that's how they learn empathy. For the ones who don't get that, and it's weird because they are the first ones. They become snowflakes when somebody does something wrong to them. They become the biggest bitch and complainers. It doesn't matter if they're conservative or liberal, they're the biggest to bitch and complain. It can be both, conservative or liberal. Bitch and complain, and they can be the rudest people sometimes, but if something's done to them, then they're just snowflakes. So It's like they don't have that mirror of empathy of like, yeah, I guess I wouldn't like it. Maybe basic common sense. eBay sells. I didn't catch that. What's that, Tanya? Oh, the books, John Hall. Okay, that's what I need to. Amazon. Um, I was just looking at the books tonight. I was going to look at Duncan's books, Demon Hunted World or something like that, and then Soul Catcher, Project Soul Catcher. Um, I think we're in a really weird place because on one hand, in '95, Bill Clinton admitted that the government did it. You can see it in 1995 online, where he admitted it, but then act like it's not happening anymore. But then the pressure, you know, 12, 15 years later got so big that Obama had to reopen the White House. It wasn't just a protest at the White House. The White House opened its own doors and said, "Come on in, we'll listen to you." And it had Amy Goodman from University of Pennsylvania, president, or Penn State, one of those. And yeah, Anthony Fauci's wife, Dr. Christine Grady. She's the co-chair, Anthony Fauci's wife. Um, and she's got a degree in bioethics. So hopefully they're the right people to. But it's as you can tell, that was in 2011 and 2012 and 2020. So a lot of targeted individuals live close together in a town. That would be wonderful. Um, I know Derek Robinson on that same uh, program that had the gay guys that were talking about this. They also showed Derek Robinson um, talking. They had a house for PAX, People Against Covert Technologies. I guess that's what it stands for. So, and they had a house and was trying to help people. So that would be wonderful. I told my dad, he told me to hit them back harder and give them what live it live in a rough country town though. Yeah, hit them back harder. Yeah, yeah. Well, Australia. When I think of Australia by nature, I think of tough people. I mean, I do think of Crocodile Dundee a bit, kind of the people that drink Fosters. And it's funny. I actually, well, I have a relative that kind of knows some people that invented one of the beers. Anyway, I won't go into all the detail and all that. So, but it's a different beer, and I forget it's some lager, but it might even be American. So I don't know what its name is. So, but so anyway, it's I forget what name it was. So it's no, it's an English beer. That's what it was. Um, we had to, yeah. You gotta hit him back. Um, that's the thing though. I can get. I mean, I almost got in trouble because I did the same thing. I didn't hit him back, but I went to my hometown. This is after falling out of the window, breaking these, learning to walk again, and I wanted to let City Hall know. So I wrote something bad in regards to them in front of the City Hall, and and then I wrote V2K. And I had never gotten in trouble in my life. And to be honest, nobody from City Hall, and that includes the police, they've never been rude to me. It's my entire life. Nobody from City Hall or Dallas had ever been mean to me in my entire life. I mean, you go through little shit, but I never really had any enemies except my own brother. And we lived. He was my roommate, but he was an ass. But they were good, and then this happened. So, but anyway, I won't go into it. But it's a different world now, and that was 4 years ago. And I they actually did something nice to me and didn't make me punish too much for that. They realized what I was going through and just kind of gave me a little bit of slack. So I hope they'll continue realizing, okay, Alan knows what's going on, knows what happened, and I always thought they were good people, so I was surprised by it. And it's just, you know, I was raised to be respectful and like police. I was raised conservative, so um, religious and conservative. So I think that's something that conservatives are raised to believe. And then I went kind of liberal, so I understand both people's sizes views. You don't drink Forsters. Oh, Foster's. Okay, what's your drink, Wayne? Milk. No. Foster's, I've tried that beer before. It's strong. It's stout. Stout, that's the word. Foster's 8. Yeah, I've never had that. It's just a big, thick beer. It's just a big, thick. I'll make a joke there, but no, yeah, it's a big, thick beer. Foster's. I understand, Tanya's like, I understand how they push you so much. We're stressed. I'm happy you are part of our TI family. That's why yes, it is wonderful to, from Ella Free to Kyle. And I listened to Kyle's thing again just about a month ago. When I go to sleep around 1 or 30 or 2 in the morning, I'll have Ella Free's thing going because I like hearing sound in the background. And sometimes I'll listen to Kyle, and he's such a down to earth, everyday guy who can relate to anybody, that him or other people that go through it, I just enjoy hearing it. So you guys can relate, huh? Okay, Wayne, what's your drink? Used to, huh? Foster's milk, huh? No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I used to drink the worst tasting shit there was. It's a Steel Reserve. It's like 10%. Kyle is awesome. Um, he gets a little funky sometimes, and he gets those glasses going, and he's got the weirdest posters in the background of a superhero, but he's smart on the technological stuff. I don't know much about computers, so Holston's. I've never heard of Holston's. Holston. Oh, maybe I've heard of it. Holston, I might have seen it. Shit, Germany's got tons. I mean, Germany's known for beer. I mean, even in the United States, in every big city, there's an Oktoberfest, and it's people, for in October, it's Oktoberfest, and it's every big city here in the United States has a German Oktoberfest going with the sausage and the great thing steins of beer. And I probably the same in Australia. How are you guys doing in Australia, by the way? Did you guys have another lockdown? I mean, that's what I was worried about. You guys had a 111-day lockdown, and then that's nuts. Yeah, wholesome. You have it there too. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I knew it was like 111 days, and then I don't know about that prime minister, but I don't know if it's yesterday we had a 99,000 that were diagnosed in one day or something. So, um, yeah, good, good, Tanya. Yeah, Australia would be a fun place to visit. Um, I don't know if I'd like to go to Melbourne or Sydney or, you know, I don't know, see a Nicole Kidman or something, or, uh, oh, what's the guy from Gladiator? I'm talking about. Not that he would come up to me and say, "Hey, nice to meet you. Welcome to Australia." So, a lot of great Australians. So, it is beautiful. I mean, just from the pictures. So, it's just, and I like their accent. I don't know. Do people in the United States have an accent? Do you guys think we talk funny? Wayne, do we talk funny? Do we have an accent? We don't think we do. Um, but we definitely know in Australia, as Germans got, yeah, it's that harsh, when Germans speak, um, it sounds like a strong, you know, of course, it just depends. Whenever they speak English, it's just, yeah, it's hard to tell. So that's as far as I know. I took 2 years of Spanish and I don't know any of it. So I don't know how it is. I went to Tijuana twice in Mexico and a little bit kicked out, so I could try to get medication, but so that's a different world. But yeah, Australia would be a great place. So I was just watching Mad Max just the other day, and I was watching that crazy. My son American, he talks Australian. Is that his name? American? That's a great name, though. You know what's funny, Tanya? You do those, and I try to. but I always forget to do the emoji things. I've been trying to do that. I'll put like a little thing, and then I'll put this or that, and then but I always forget to do the emojis. I always forget to do that, so I got to figure out how to do those things. And Wayne does those. Yeah, you do those things too, and I got to figure out how to do that stuff. So, oh, he was born in the USA. Okay, okay, yeah, it's yeah, that could come in handy as far as just citizen. If you guys ever want to, you and Wayne and you guys, Cheryl, just come on over here. I'll sponsor you guys to live over here in case it becomes like the Walking Dead, zombie apocalypse over there in Australia. Whenever I get on there, it's targeted individuals, and all three of you guys are. It's like a TI targeted individual Ozfest because my three favorite Australians are there, so it's Ozfest. Targeted individual Ozfest. That's what I think of. So yeah, and I've only been there though. I've only been to Mexico twice, so I haven't been. Normally, Americans don't travel too much. Maybe Canada or Mexico, but we don't. Most don't do a lot of travel. Um, oh, really? 11 and a half years. Shit. My goodness. It seems like it'd be similar, both of them. It's just they seem like they're related. Their countries. It's almost more closer to the U.S. and Australia than U.S. and Britain or something. Just that people can relate. I could be wrong. The only thing I know about Australia is just on TV, so that's the only thing I know. I didn't actually meet too many people, actual in the flesh from Australia. So still live USA. How you talked? Oh yeah, I love USA. Yeah, yeah. That's the weird thing though about going through this, and even if you're not political, um, when you go through this, you really um, you think, well, the government they try their best, and then you realize what the government, that they're doing all this medical experimentation, and that's the best way to tell people, I think, is let them know about human experimentation. Because if it's just I hear voices or something, then you know what that makes us sound like. But medical experimentation, and show Bill Clinton admitting to it in '95. So it's then they can relate to it and realize this is happening to thousands of people, and then show them our stuff that we have on the internet. So, oh yeah, airports. Yeah, now they're just, I don't know. I haven't been on an airplane in a good 20 years, 15 years, maybe 20. So they're just too crowded. So it's it's just a different world over there. So I don't know where they're to have it. Sydney probably. And when I think of Australia, I always think of those. I think it's an opera. Um, the weird shaped buildings that look like seashells, not round seashells, but like they're shark fins. Those buildings. I think it's an opera house. And then they have the Festival for Dangerous Ideas that they had in Australia. It's for controversial free thinkers like Christopher Hitchens, and just a bunch of free thinkers, and that's that's pretty much. And then all the actors and actresses, they don't call them actresses. Everybody's now an actor now. Men and women are all called actors. So the Sydney Opera House, yeah, yeah, that's what it was. I think that's where they had the Festival of Dangerous Ideas. So it's pretty good there. Shoot, I think every time, at least 10, 15 years ago, all the actors, from Hugh Jackman, Nicole Kidman. Um, why am I having a hard time figuring that guy? Russell Crowe. Um, just a bunch of Aussies, Mel Gibson, of course, the great one. I mean, Mad Max. Um, I was looking at that part the other day where it had in Mad Max when they're throwing that, the little kid's throwing the boomerang and the guy catches it and it slices his fingers off. And then the guy is like freaking out. The main guy, Captain V2K. What's that? What are those guys' names? Lord something or other. Mel's the bested. Yes, he is. Um, but he's like, walk away. There's been too much killing, too much blood. You need to walk away. Just walk away. And just so. I think they had it on South Park too. They made fun of it, so it was good. Just walk away. There's been too much violence, too much blood. Just walk away. I think Wayne could do that voice. Wayne's got a good voice for it. Just walk away. So we can understand. We're sticking around though. We're target individuals and we're tired of getting treated like shit. So we're sticking around and we're gonna make them wish they walked away. So or else get embarrassed and pay us a big load of money and then apologize and just admit what they are doing and have done. So that's why I'm thankful for Kyle and Wayne and Tanya and all the groups that help with TIs. It's just Dr. Matt, um, all the podcasts and stuff, and the groups, PACs, people for against covert treatment, against covert technologies, and Ella's group, Ella Free, and Targeted in Massachusetts. That's another one with Frank Allen, and just a bunch of them. So I think the pressure is building. So, but we're a little scared here in the U.S. with the elections 3 days around away, and it's just a weird time. It's just 2020 is definitely the weirdest time, and even with Australia because you guys had those fires that were just crazy right before the pandemic. All the news here in the United States, there was a bunch of news talking about Australia every night in the fires. So, yeah, they will be sorry that they haven't listening to targeted individuals around the world. Yep, you watch Alan when people wake up. They will wake up because they're going to be forced to because um, it's going to be hard for them to admit it, but it's just too many people. And I don't know if they're going to um, make some group the fall guy, fall gal, whatever, or a group of people. Because how much of the government are they going to admit, or that knew about it and just you know it's like the CDC. Um, it's like the pandemic or plandemic, whatever. If it was planned or it's just we're living in a weird time of very little transparency. That's for sure. So we hope we'll not get bad fires this year. We are going to get we're going to get a lot of rain on and off. So yeah, we had a scary point like that too here in Oregon. In fact, it was just probably a month and a half ago. We were worried where I live in Salem, and we were checking the news every night, just seeing if our area. But we had some places in Marion County that were having a real difficult time. So we're just very thankful for the firemen and first responders or what they have to go through and the firemen and all that kind of stuff. Fire women. Still trying to get the right pronoun correct. So, so I got to turn my clock back. It says 1:50 a.m., but at 2 o'clock I have to move it back, so it's not 2 o'clock. It's 1 a.m. So yeah, when you get those fires, that's just nutty stuff over there. It's scary. It's just bizarre. Let's see, because I know Kyle was on a few nights ago. Sometimes he'd be on Friday or Saturday nights. So I'm actually putting my stuff up because we're going to be moving in about the next 3 weeks to a month. Found a place. So we'll be moving. And so I'm looking very forward to that. So it's not very far. So I'm glad for that. It was funny because the street theater that we go through, I had one, somebody almost ran me over tonight just in the parking lot, and they literally swerved their car. And it wasn't like they were just going the normal route of a car. They literally swerved their car because I went out for a cigarette, and they literally swerved their car to make it look like they're going to hit me. And then they, stopped. So I wasn't in danger. I just kind of, stopped, looked at them, and walked quietly. I didn't run or anything, but it's just a street theater we go through, and I know what it is. So I didn't freak out or cuss them out or no middle fingers. So that's a good thing. Their whole system will break down, but it will take 5 or even 10 years from now. Yeah, I know what you mean. The whole system, once it does come out, the level of medical experimentation, we just hope. And I do think, and that's why it's wonderful that we have Ella Free and Romola, just letting people know starting off that it's medical experimentation without our knowledge or permission. And if you put pressure on the doctors and on the insurance companies and let them know, because most, and if it's in a religious small town, just let them know because they know about it. And just let them know about it. And because that'll put a lot of pressure on them to, they want money. They're capitalists, and everybody complains they don't have enough money for the budget. They don't have enough. Well, even our own governments say that. But look, in the U.S., they just passed a bunch of trillions of dollars where everybody got, and this is something they've had in, you know, so they're always going to keep saying that. They're always going to keep saying they don't have enough for this and that, but they've been squirreling away $10 trillion or who knows how many trillions. So, I mean, I remember when I was a kid, growing up to be a millionaire was a big thing. I'm 48 now. I'm gonna, next I'll be 49. So, um, born in 71. Yeah. Anyway, but being a millionaire now, they're talking about who's going to be the first trillionaire. Because in the United States, there's like 768 billionaires. There's like over 700 billionaires that live in the United States, not millionaires, billionaires. And this whole transformation happened in the last 20 to 30 years. So it's just like, yeah, if they wanted to make sure there was no homeless people or, the veterans or whatever, this could have been fixed a long time ago. Even just buying a big ships that nobody goes at, cruise lines or something and give them to people to live, but then they'll worry about lawsuits and somebody gets falls on a beam and then hurts and are they going to sue for 10 million or 20 million? It's weird because some guy just got 20 million for being on TV in the news, and he got there's some Indian was pounding a drum and they were both giving each other a stare down for 15-20 minutes. Neither one said anything mean to each other, neither one punched each other, but because they got talked about on CNN and Fox News, one of the guys, the teenager, got like over $200 million just for being stared down for 20 minutes on the internet, and it became viral and talked about on CNN and Fox News. Got over $200 million just for that. So if that man got that kid teenager got 200 million for just that, what do you think targeted individuals would be worthy of getting? We wouldn't need anything ridiculous like that, but it's just amazing what they do pay out for the most ridiculous. I don't know if the Indian guy got anything. I'm sorry, I was kind of paid a little bit. The sad thing is, Alan, firemen and women are part of this torture program around the world. See, I didn't know that part. Um, I knew the first responders did, but I didn't know the firemen and firewomen. I didn't know that. I guess they would because guys being guys, they talk about shit and they hang out with other, you know, alpha males or whatever. So they probably do talk about it. That's why whenever you go, you have, street theater with complete strangers and they're talking shit about you behind your back. And suddenly you become the opposite of a celebrity. You're so well known and people know about you, and but it's negative stuff. But now I just kind of realize I almost get a little bit of a like, who the hell are they? I've been nice to all these people my entire life, and that's how they come back at 30 years of this torture thing, and then it's like had to learn to walk again, and just like anyway, you move over 12 times, it doesn't matter. That's what I've heard. Yeah, I mean, Dr. Matt, he was in Canada, and he says he's no longer. He just knows what he went through, and he wants to help us. So that's wonderful. So but that's what I've heard too. You can move in different parts of the country or different countries, and it stays with you. But other people have gone on, and some have said that they stopped doing it. So I don't know. I think most of us, but some have. Some have said that they were on, and they were stopped. They weren't TI'd, or at least not in the same way anymore. Like no more. I don't know if it's V2K or electronic jolts or something. So when billionaires, billion, sound like Carl Sagan, billionaires. I don't know how many Australians there are that are billionaires. So Nicole Kidman's got to be one. So I know, probably the richest one in the world, Rupert Murdoch, the guy who owns Australian, the bigwig, Murdoch. Yeah, he owns Fox News, News Corp. He's the Australian guy. He's probably one of the richest and the entire most powerful people in the world. He's Australian, Rupert Murdoch. Him and his sons they own all the News Corp and National Enquirer type magazines in Britain and Europe and New York and Fox News and all the Fox channels. It's Rupert Murdoch and Sons James, and I don't know what the other one is named, but yeah, that's a powerful family, smart, powerful family. They make money off people, damn right. Yeah. See, they got in trouble in about 10 years ago. They had to answer for it because a lot of those newspapers in Britain were looking into people's answer machines, all the celebrities, and they were listening to celebrities and their answering machines, and were printing very private, important stuff in their newspaper the next day. They would go into people's, figure out their passwords or numbers, and the next day they would have it on front of the newsstands about what you know Harry and Prince William were talking about, or their children. So Dr. Mikovits, Dr. Judy A. Mikovits, book Plague of Corruption book. Okay, let me write that down. Judy Mikovits, huh? I got one right here. Do you guys have any favorites that you guys? I wonder if you guys have any favorites that I haven't heard of. TI people. His wife was a spy. Oh, that'll be interesting. It's like Julia Childs, the cook on PBS. She was actually a spy for the CIA. Gina Reinhardt. I don't even know who that is, Wayne. Mining. Oh, no wonder. Okay, mining. Gina Reinhardt. Wow. Hmm. I have to look her up. I don't even know who that is. That is amazing. So many people that are just, you know, I just didn't know who that was. So I got to put dog to bed. So, okay. All right. Good night, little doggy. We'll be here. Yeah, there's a bunch of rich folks that I've never heard of. Famous people that are famous in different parts. But here in the US, just I don't even know all the ones that are here. Cold mine, definitely. Boy, that'd be scary to go down. It's weird to think that they're opening up all the mining stuff again. I mean, whether that's good or those windmills or all that, I don't know which is good or better. My mom gave me a haircut. I just realized I got a calic or something there. Yeah, I got a little haircut there. So she did all right though. It's better than $30 and getting all self conscious. some, whatever the lady's going to talk about. I'd be the worst haircut giver possible. Does really works a gold mine? That'd be too tempting just to see a bit of gold there and just kind of like, they. I'm sure they test everybody and make them go through a metal detector or something like that. So that's a yeah. It's okay. Get a little scrub there or something, but yeah, I don't think she's gonna go join Supercuts or anything. So thanks, Wayne. That's what I need to do. You look different, my friend. You shaved because I've seen your beard and then shaved the beard. Look good both. So if it gets cold though, Christmas time, maybe grow the beard back if it gets too cold. But you look good. Look sharp. That and the cap. I'm used to that, and then having a little buddy there. So beard's back. Good. 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 I'm gonna with the beard. I'm gonna call you Wayne of Nazareth. You look like an Old Testament saint or something. Target individual, vegetable in hospital. Oh, yeah, vegetable. Okay, yeah, yeah. It's the hospitals. That's where you need to watch out. COVID, and then whatever the done. But we already know that. We more than anybody, we know that. But yeah, you need another bird. You need another buddy or something. I've had baby cakes. That was my bird, and then it landed on my shoulder and flew out the window when I turned to look. So, oh, it's the uncle. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Do you have fam? Do you guys have family? Um, I don't remember if I asked you guys this in chat, but my brother Dale is the one that kind of went in and did this, uh, helped them with this program against me. But my mom and sister, they don't seem to believe it, or just kind of that's like, well, there's a lot of things that we don't know that happens. So, but so they know something weird's going on. So, but they just have a hard time wrapping around. So that's would why would they do something so bad? And then I went to Portland, and it's like so. But they're wonderful. I'm lucky to have them. The birds are the best, especially if they have personality. Any animal is wonderful, especially those the cockatiels, the one with the hair, that goes up, sprays up like this, and then they cuss. You can teach them to cuss, and I swear, if you look on YouTube and you look at cockatiels or cussing cockatiels, there's some of them that are just funny. I mean, they say everything, and they got so much personality. But if you look up cockatiels or cussing parrots or something, then it's just funny. Yeah, if you got cousins that are perps, when you have family that are use it against you. For me, it was only my brother. He was the only real friend of me that I had. But yeah, yeah, they're good talkers, and it's really hard because on one hand, you don't want to. You kind of want to, in a way. You want to directly ask them or talk to them, but the whole thing is them denying. I asked my brother Dale about why does it say FBI surveillance brand, surveillance van on my Wi-Fi. That part of the corner where it looks and has the Wi-Fi and has all the different people, different types of Wi-Fi. Well, in Dallas, before the hospital and everything, it said FBI surveillance van. And I'm thinking, hey Dale, why does it say this on Wi-Fi? And he goes, oh, those are just teenagers. Those are just people. And I'm thinking, well, it's illegal against the law to impersonate an officer. They should know that. And he goes, yeah, that's not. They're not real officers. They're not the real FBI. They're just bullshitting. They don't know what they're doing. It's like, oh, okay. And then of course, then the stuff with the computer happened. It was on 3 or 4 phones within a matter of 4 or 5, 6 months. So, and that's when it's the sound through the floor started happening. The people talking. So it's like they were referring to me, and they were saying, well, he knows that we're down here. Why doesn't he just do something? And that's these guys, the ones that are listening right now, V2K. So, yeah, yeah, there's some good birds out. If you can train them to talk, they're a lot of fun. Brother and son, but none of them I can't. I can. Yes, yeah. Yeah, with kids that would be hard. That would be a hard one, but it's good to have other adults, like this, like with Kyle, other chats and that you can relate to. Um, because other people they won't be able to. I've had two other friends I could talk to, and I showed them the pamphlet I got from Ella's targeted individual rally in Portland. I'm even in one of them. But here's one of them. Here's one of the shit. Where is that? Here's one of them. Targeted individual awareness, and that's a picture of Robert Duncan. And I got that from Portland from the Target Individual Rally. Ella Free had, and they were passing these out. So it's wonderful to be able to see other people. And you know what is funny? What was that? My brother, yeah, my cousin lives down road and gets free food on my mom when she goes to shops. Yeah, well, that's a good thing, free food. When I was heading to that one in Portland, the Targeted Individual Rally, again, I'd never seen one, another TI, but they had told me that they had found out that I was coming. My B2K folks were saying that they had canceled um, the meeting. Then the next morning, they had canceled it. So I went and stayed the night at the Portland on the ground on the cement there next to their station, and they woke me up at 5 o'clock saying I had to leave. But they were okay. They were decent. But it was funny because one of the cops came out and talking to his friend looked at me and said, "There's that CNA, or excuse me, former CNA, like CNA, a nursing home worker." Um, Certified nursing assistant, like a caregiver in a nursing home. So my V2K had already went and called them up and let them know that I was going to be there, and they already knew me. They didn't say my name, but they just said, "Well, there's the former CNA. There's the CNA, or excuse me, the former CNA, nursing home worker." So they already knew that I was there and knew who I was. So, um, and a little bit was like, yeah, it's just. I get kind of a boring life at times, so a little bit just it wouldn't be fun to have their job either. So I have one good friend with her, and I can talk about. Oh, that's good, Bridget. Yeah, yeah. That's the main thing. Is she one, Bridget? Does she believe you about the TI stuff? I mean, it's like I know from Australia, you got it's not Tanya and Wayne and I think Cheryl, but it's like it's just to have a good friend that can believe you. So they have to find out for themselves. Yeah, I hope they don't, but it's hard for them. I found showing them um, the rallies and showing the European ones. Um, I think there was some Australian ones. There was a site that was just for Australian TIs too, but I forgot the name of it. Um, I forget what it was, but um, Europe's got it. They got television, TI television, and I forget the guy's name. It's kind of a different guy with a ponytail. But TI television is there, and then you got Shane by TI, and it's like Shane. But if you look at, yeah, they're protesting in front of the BBC building. So a lot of TIs are born into this program. I've wondered that. Alex, okay, yeah, it's a lot of TIs are born into it. I've wondered that because there was one TI who was a lawyer, and he went on Flow of Wisdom. You can check it on YouTube, and it's a radio podcast sometimes where they deal with targeted individuals and interview them. And there's one lawyer guy that actually had his sons did the old electronic thing, and then it started responding like they had an electric pulse going through them, and they were kids. So it makes you wonder if they're when their kids are born, or it's not like the government's ever going to admit to it. And it's just it's weird how the government did this. They made years ago when they created the term conspiracy. I heard that this government did it themselves. They created the term conspiracy theory. And what they do is they mix conspiracy stuff, real truth. They mix it up with a lot of truthful things. They mix craziness up with truthful things, but also will have it mixed in with wild conspiracy things, so that even when you're telling the truth, it's it'll end up making you look a little nutty, even though you're 100% correct. Shane Gibbs, yes, yes, Shane Gibbs, thank you. He doesn't do it anymore, huh? He was really good. I didn't know he doesn't do it anymore. Maybe after years, he just, I don't know. He did that Vice Vice one, and that was helpful. And he was doing that electronic thing, but then he also did that electronic thing to the interviewer, and he was registering. So that's what makes me, maybe he secretly, without his knowledge, had it done to him, and he didn't know it. The interviewer, we don't know, but he also got a reading, so I don't know. It could have been just a malfunction. Not a TI, but had some problems, okay. So your friend's not a TI, okay. Well, at least your friend understands. And knowing just your sincerity, and just the videos you can show that there's, and the patents on this stuff, you can look at the patents and realize that we're objectively telling the truth, and that we can show the patents for this technology that we've been put on. Some of this stuff has been around since the 70s, 80s, and we even have the patents that we can show for it. Um, Here's the other part. I've been carrying this in my back pocket for a good year and a half every day. That way, if somebody wants me to bring it up, I can show it. There's the old Myron May and Aaron Alexis. So, and then Dr. Barry Trower. So, direct energy weapons and remote neural monitoring. So, this helps, because me saying it, it just sounds like, I could be anything. But if you let them read it, and they can see for themselves, look at the patents, and it gives it some real authentic. It's like, oh, this could really be, and it is real. So that's really a bonus. So, well, my friends, it's a little after 2 in the morning here, so I'll probably call it an evening, a night. So yes, it is. Yeah, it's sad for them. So, but I'm glad that we as TIs, and as very glad, because if I had never met anybody that was a TI that can relate to, it would be, this makes it a lot better. And to be able to know what I went through 30 years of, and to have a name for it, direct energy weapons, to know what's going on, and even to get mad, to be able to get mad and know that it's validated, you know. Yeah, I'm not going to love my enemies for this one. Doesn't mean I have to freak out and do anything mean or violent, but at least I can take a stand, and we all can, and reach out to the people that, we can relate to each other and give each other support. So that's what's good. My son's grown, not living okay in the morning and with their flat anymore. I always forget what the term my flat anymore. So that's like an apartment or house or whatever. So, well, that's, yeah. As long as we have friends, we can relate to each other. So that's the main thing. All right, guys. I'll probably give it a gander of sleep. I got my Tylenol PM, so I'll probably be on in a day or two or something like that. So if you happen to see me, just say howdy. Come on in. All right, you guys are great. I'll see you in a couple days, okay? Or if I see you guys on, I'll come and say howdy. So, all right, good night, guys. Happy Halloween and happy November 1st. All right, night, guys. Oh, how's that go? There we go.